Baltic rescue. One cold winter day, a dog walked to the edge of an icy river in Poland. Nobody knows for sure where the dog came from or what he was doing there, but he was about to have a big adventure. Without warning, the ice that the dog was standing on broke away from land. The dog was swept down the river on a sheet of ice half the size of a football field. The frightened dog looked away for a, for a way to get back to shore, but he was trapped on the ice. The river was too cold for him to swim safely. Some firefighters saw the dog drifting down the river as he passed through the city. They tried to help him, but they couldn't reach him. Firefighters could only watch as the ice carried the dog farther down the river. For 3 days, the dog drifted down the river on his raft of ice. He passed through several more towns. At least one group of people saw him and tried to help him, but they weren't able to reach him either. Each day, the hungry dog grew colder, weaker, and more scared. His ice raft was slowly melting and breaking up into hundreds of smaller pieces. By now, the piece he was standing on was not much larger than a small bedroom. If he slipped off, he might become trapped under of many chunks of ice around him and drown. On the 4th day, the dog passed the mouth of the river and swept it out into the Baltic Sea. He had traveled more than 75 miles, 120 kilometers from he had begun. He was moving farther away from land and many hopes of rescue. The piece of ice he was standing on had shrunk to the size of a picnic table. The dog was facing a deadly end to his adventure, but his luck was about to change. Some scientists and sailors aboard the research ship named Baltic were passing through the sea. They saw an animal moving in the ice, moving in the distance, and decided to investigate. At first, the people on the ship thought the animal was a seal. They were amazed when they got closer and saw that the seal had 4 legs, floppy ears and a tail. They had found a dog floating on the ice 15 miles, 24 kilometers from land. Baltic were trying. Sailors were able to bring their ship close to the dog. They lowered a net next to the dog, but he was too scared to climb in. The dog even slipped and fell into the cold water. While they were trying to help him, luckily, he was able to climb back into the slippery ice. Fearing that the dog would drown, the crew lowered a raft. Adam, the ship's mechanic, used the raft to get close to the dog. Adam grabbed the dog by the back of the neck and pulled him into the raft. Once the dog was safe aboard the ship, the crew dried him and wrapped him in dried blankets. They rubbed him with towels to warm him up. At first, the dog was too weak to stand. He curled up and went to sleep with a blanket. After a good nap, the dog was strong enough to join the crew for a breakfast and eat some sausage.